Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fed Razak at CM Trading. Today is January 9th, 2023, and today is Monday morning. Welcome back, everybody. Looking at the highlights of the day, the Dow Jones explodes over 1,000 points from last Friday's NFP. Now, there's no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the US dollar weakens versus the major pairs. And as we look at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ have a nice upside move. And looking at commodities, gold extends its rally while oil bounces. Now looking at the stocks specifically, JP Morgan is trading on its highs and Facebook looks like it wants to take it higher. Now lastly, looking at Bitcoin, a nice little spike to the upside. Let's see if it can continue. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're taking a look at the Euro USD and we're first looking at a daily chart. Just give us perspective. We've topped out at this 107 several times. Now, the last time that we're breaking into this, we're actually looking for it to make higher lows here. And that's exactly what's been happening. But it's happening quite subtly, okay? It's not happening all at the same time. If you look at a 4-hour chart, you can see that quite clearly. And there's some resistance to it, okay? So I do expect that going into today's session as well. Now looking at the GBP USD, same story. As it did get stronger, the GBP got stronger versus the dollar, and it's hitting that threshold at the 30-day moving average and then just pivoting at that area. So just be aware, there is some resistance at this area across the board when we get here. Now jumping into commodities, first looking at gold, extending that gaze to 1880-ish level and then retracing, but not retracing by big, okay? Only about 10 points relative to how much this kind of pushed up from its 1800 level. It was a nice push up, a nice little move, a nice little pivot, but we are hitting previous resistance, okay? Right here is previous resistance, as this has been our issue for quite some time right there, and that continues right here as well. So this takes us back all the way to June as it moved that level, okay, to 1873. Now, if it does push above it, okay, which I do expect it to, we could see it back, okay, at that 1900-ish level, even 100 points from now on the upside. Now, looking at crude oil, nice little pivot move on the upside, a nice little bounce, not a big bounce, but a decent bounce as it hit that $72 level and jumping to $76. Nothing big, but again, a decent move on the upside, but very hard to catch because it's very, very choppy, not a trending market, nothing like the gold. So I would focus more on gold under the circumstances. I'm looking at the Dow Jones, okay? We had an orbital move last week, okay, from 32,900 to 33,800 right now, close to 1,000-point move. Now, it looks like it wants to extend it. Now, remember, at the end of the week, we have CPI, we also have FOMC, so a couple of major events coming up to the end of the week that could catapult us back to our highs if there is some positive news. So keep that in mind as we are trending sideways. And looking at the NASDAQ also did get a bounce. And every time it looks like it's going to break that 10,500, it burst right back up. Okay, if we look at Apple, it bounced right off its lows. Microsoft also bouncing off its lows. So there's some resistance in. Now looking at JP Morgan is completely a different picture. I mean, we're back on our highs here at 137. So we're pushing higher when it comes to the bank stocks. And that's really important because that is really what reflects on the Dow Jones. Looking at Tesla also getting that bounce, even though it hit a low of 103, it did get that bounce as well. Now lastly, looking at Bitcoin, look at that. Okay, out of nowhere, 16,900, and then pushes up higher. Now you could see this in retrospect, okay? When we look backwards, we could see that quite clearly. That's an upwards momentum. That's a clear upwards trend. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Retraces to resistance or trades sideways and then takes it up. Okay, so this is a clear indication that we are hitting resistance-ish level at this 17,300, and if we do bounce above it, we could be back to that 18,300. Now, it's not to say that we're going back to 20,000, but for the current move, it's quite bullish. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.